Barbara from AllBrands.com, and welcome to the AllBrands show. Today we have a very exciting special guest and a new machine that we haven't had on the show before that I'm very excited to learn more about. And I've had some experience with the previous models, and they just came out with a new one that I'm super excited about. It is the Bernina E16. It's a 16 needle commercial embroidery machine, and with us today is Nathaniel Moore. I guess we can call him Nate during the video, but he is been in commercial embroidery for 20 years, and he does like application software stuff. And anyway, he's amazing, and I have a lot to learn, and he has a lot to teach, and I hope that we have a lot of fun together today. Let us know where you're watching from, what machine you have. If you have any questions, just give us a comment, and I'll be moderating that during our live. So without further ado, here is Nate Moore. Hi, Nate.
Hey, how are you guys doing?
Good.
Good. So yeah, I have the E16 Plus back here, the Bernina E16 Plus. It is, like you said, a multi-needle machine. It's kind of really nice for that because a lot of colors, and I don't have to rethread every time it's changing.
Yeah.
And so that's, I think, super handy. It's super fast. I love the interface. I love how it works with a computer.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm a big fan of this machine.
Well, I am too. I've had experience with the E16, but not the E16 Plus, which is only about, what, 4 months old now?
I was trying to do that math. I don't even know if it's that old yet.
Yeah, so we're able to sell the E16 Plus in our 7 retail locations in Louisiana and Texas. We'll also give you some other options at the end for some other items that are available as well in the same family of products. But we just have a lot to learn. So before we get started, I want you to tell everybody, like, how did you get started in this business, and what got you into all of this?
Honestly, I needed a job when I was in college, and the local screen print and embroidery place was hiring, and I said, you know what? Yeah, I'm good with that. They would not hire me until I was 18. I turned 18, they hired me, and I finished anything that came off the machines. I finished by hand, so anything that was missing, I'd sew it in by hand, I'd trim up threads. So quality embroidery became very important really fast because I didn't want to sew everything in by hand. Mm-hmm. And then as I went through college, I moved through the departments. I ran machines. I then went into the art department. I started developing art for screen print and embroidery. And then when I started digitizing, when I graduated, I came out to Denver and started my own business and purchased Design Shop and a machine and started embroidering and doing my own thing. And then, yeah, when I was here, they said, hey, we're kind of interested in having you as a trainer. And I started then 13 years ago here, maybe. And I've moved from training, customer support, application support. I now help design how the software works and how the machines run and all that kind of good stuff. So it's been crazy. I've touched like everything along the way, from shipping it out professionally to making the software and doing the machines here.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
So you have a vast view of what's available in the marketplace for commercial embroidery machines. And I think that that's really...
Yeah, I ran competition machines early on. I like these machines better.
Oh, yes. So should we make them wait for the full demo to see all of the different features, or should we tell them our favorite things from the get-go?
Tell me your favorite things.
Okay. I'm sorry. My nose is itching so bad. Oh, okay. I didn't want to sneeze in the video.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, give me your favorite things, and then kind of as we do the demo, you can remind me. Yeah, that's one of my favorite things.
Yeah.
And I'll talk about mine as I do it.
Got it. Okay. So in general, the full line favorite things: servo motor, tubular arm, which is the smallest in the industry, and it's round. So you can get like so many things around it.
Cylindrical lower arm. Yeah, no, it's great.
Yeah, that open space around it so that you can have like huge bags. There's like so much versatility with what you can fit around that really small tubular.
Or even what you can get into.
Yeah. So that it's a prosumer level machine. So it's commercial. It's heavy duty. You don't have to worry about, is this too much for my machine to handle? I think that for the most part, it's going to get through most things, right?
Oh, yeah.
I haven't pushed it to the limit yet, but maybe you can tell us about you.
Oh, no, I have. It's fine.
So another interesting thing about this machine is there's no tension dials on it. It's all automated through the ActiFeed system.
Yeah, the only tension you have to worry about is the bobbin tension. Everything else, depending, like if I have metallic or if I have this weight of poly, if I'm doing 75 weight, 60 weight, 40 weight, it's fine. We'll run it through and the ActiFeed will take care of it. It's pretty fantastic that way.
Yeah. Another thing, it has one foot. So a lot of multi-needle machines, they'll have a foot for every needle. This has one foot that moves around to each needle, and there's one setting point on that one foot. So you only have to set the, what would you set on a foot? Like the height adjustment on it?
Yeah, so what you're doing is basically kind of setting how high off the material or how much it presses into the material. So think about the difference in I lost all train of thought.
High loft.
Well, not even that, because those tend to be a little bit squishy, right? But think about the difference in like a big, thick work cotton duct jacket that's really, really thick versus a very fine dinner napkin, right? Like you're not going to want to press into those the same way. And so you can adjust that presser foot so that you have nice kind of press off the needle. As the needle comes up, it's pressing down, it's keeping the fabric flat, and it's pulling up through. But when I go to that thick cotton duct, just really beefy coat, I'm not just slamming the presser foot down and trying to get all the way down to where it was with that fine linen.
Yeah,
so
that's so cool.
It's adjustable for all of that.
Another thing that I really think is really cool is the thread break sensor on the machine is totally unique. It's this bar, it's that silver bar that you see in the front, if you can point to it, and it's like a special sensor, and it's more accurate than other models might be, and I think that's really cool.
It plays with the ActiFeed system. So not only does it detect thread break, it detects how much thread is in the system based on the rhythm of that thread and how hard it hits. So as you're sewing, if there's not enough thread in the system, it will feed that back to the software and feed a little bit more thread. If there's too much, it will back that off. So yeah.
So if we're losing anybody on any exclamations or things that make your life easier, so just remember that.
Yeah, the things that I know only because I deal with them. You don't have to know them as much as I do.
Yeah. Okay, so another thing that's really cool is it has a laser, and it's not just for placement, which is really cool. It actually helps rotate the design. So you can say your starting point and your ending point here, and it automatically shifts the design in your hoop.
Yep.
So that's really cool. I think that that's a really unique system. And I think that is that a Bernina feature?
It is on the Bernina machine.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's awesome. 16 thread colors at a time. I mean, you're not going to be very limited with that. And I know you're going to show us how easy it is if you do have to rethread. It's like,
if you do have to rethread, it's not a big deal at all.
Very, very good. And then we'll show pictures of this later, but micro chenille. So like the back of a Letterman's jacket, it recreates that look, and I think that's so cool. Okay, so my favorite things, and I know this is such a long list. I'm long-winded, and that's why I had to bring you on this show, because I think this machine is so cool. So on the E16 Plus. So there was an E16, which we still have 4 models available in our stores. It's being replaced by the E16 Plus, which is available for purchase on our stores. 48 months, 0% financing with the Bernina credit card. Awesome. Okay. So the better financing, you get the lower price per month. It's faster. So it's 1,400, up to 1,400 stitches per minute. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Do I always know that? No. Can I? Yeah.
Yeah. So it has an enhanced trimmer system for shorter bobbin tails underneath, which I think is really cool. And has a new round plate on the tubular arm, so you can do hats easier.
Yep.
So
the E16 had a rounded needle plate as well. This one's got just a slightly flatter spot right in, so it hits. Instead of hitting that presser foot and you only have one tiny point of contact, think about, like, this is my needle plate and then I just have this presser foot that hits. I have only kind of where my knuckles are. And if I slightly flatten it out just a touch, I have a little bit better contact right there. So it's going to give you kind of an easier sew out for that. So I love that. You talked about the trimmer. Yeah, it's really cool. Shorter tails, that's nice. I love that it self-sharpens. So every time it moves, it trims, it actually sharpens itself.
Oh, wow. That's interesting. That is really cool. Before we get started, I want to just say hi to a few folks that are watching. Sharon from Liberty Center, Ohio. Good to see you. Betty Carwile from Virginia. Thank you for watching. And Ann Keller from Gretna. Good to see you again. I hope you're doing well. Dawn Maddox, yay. Thanks for watching again. And you have a 10 needle embroidery machine. And Lori has a Brother 1050X that she's had for about 3 years now. So I hope that you both are having fun using multi-needle embroidery machines, because they really enhance your creativity, your business, so many things. So, but just to get into it, did you have any other favorite things?
Do I? Oh yeah. So yeah, okay. So we'll go through kind of just loading a design to the machine. And it's done through the software. So this machine is connected to a computer. The software that runs it is on the computer. And that is one of my favorite things. Mm-hmm. So when I said I started my own business and I bought my own machine and I bought it from here. What I like about it is I bought this machine's, I've even lost track of how many predecessors it is. But it too had the software on a computer. It talked to the machine. And then we're always looking at developing new things and improving. And a lot of what we do, we can teach these machines new tricks, short of hardware changes, like the trimmer, like you were talking about with the laser alignment where it can rotate. Mm-hmm. My machine didn't have that when I bought it, but it took an update or an upgrade of software, and then I could learn that trick. My machine then knew that trick. So I like that it has that, and it's, you know, tools, check for updates, I get new things. I like that a lot. Yeah. So I get those improvements. I love that. And then I'm gonna kind of swap screens. Well, nah. I am working in a touch environment right now. So the interface has large buttons. It's easy to see, but if it's in a touch environment, I can just tap on the screen of my computer and I'm manipulating it just as if they were physical buttons. And that is one of my favorite things, is that it's updatable, it's easy, and I can scroll through and I can see what I'm doing on screen very, very quickly.
Yeah. So the E16 Plus and the E16, and actually you're from Denver, Colorado, and you're currently at the Melco facilities there.
I am.
Yes.
So we are.
both the Melco and the Bernina have softwares that come with them. There's two different types. There's digitizing. That's an option. There's like a lettering, a placement software that comes standard with the packages, and then there's an operating system. So you're going to show us the operating system and the Design Shop Lite.
Yeah, first I'm going to show the operating system. That's the one I've been talking about. So I can even swap my screen over if you'd like.
Sure.
So you can actually see it. There. And I'm going to use a mouse just so that you can see, because if I just tap the screen, you're not going to see what I'm doing. And then I'm going to turn this setting off because I meant to do that earlier. So the first thing is I'm just going to load a design. So I just go to the folder icon. These are designs that are loaded with the software that runs it. And I can click on that, click OK. As you're browsing through, I'll go back to that screen. As you're browsing through, you can see I'm opening ART files and I get that color information. That's super handy, so I know what it's supposed to be. I can see all of that. I get the dimensions, I get the stitches. So that's really handy. Now, as soon as I loaded it, you'll notice that the colors don't quite look like, perhaps I think they should. So I can go in and change my colors. And one of the transition questions from single needle to multi-needle is, how do I tell it? How do I know? How does it know what to do? And the answer is, well, I tell it. So on the bottom here are the colors from the design if the design was saved with color information. So this very first color, I'll select it. It's sewing in peach right now. It's supposed to be a light green. I'm going to sew it in this yellow. And that just changed the background. So you saw that change. Actually, I think that's going to be better in a blue. And then the next color is the orange. So I'm going to make that orange. And then this one's a green. And then this one's a dark green. So as I'm going through, you're actually seeing those changes apply. Let's go purple, and then yellow again. Let's do a darker yellow, lighter yellow, poppy red, white, gray, white, and black. So as I did that, you saw it all come in. Here are other handy things to do if you are doing a design and you need an applique stop. So because the machine doesn't stop every color, you can say, you know what, I really want you to stop between colors 4 and 5. And you can drag that stop down there. The machine will stop and wait for you to lay down that applique. I can drag that back off. I can just put in a stop and it won't feed the frame out. We've got 3D. So if you're doing 3D foam, I don't know if you guys have seen that on a cap. And then this last one is that kind of looping stitch or that micro chenille effect. And you can drag that onto the color.
Can I just stop you for a second? That sound looks so easy. And I can see how you're like, hey, using a computer is so much, more versatile. I really think that that's very cool. How easy it was to switch the colors.
And I was struggling and making it harder than it has to be. So this software also has the ability to, if you set your color tree, so if you tell it what colors are in the software, so you can see, not in the software, if you tell the software what colors are on the machine, so if I change a cone, I can double click on this and I can change it to, I don't know, a light blue or something. You'll see it change here.
Yeah.
Automatically.
So Nate,
yeah.
I have a question. Someone's asking, Lori is asking, what's the name of this particular software that you're using?
This is going to trip me up because I have.
This is the,
right,
is this the operating software?
It is. It's the Bernina E16 OS, which just means operating software. And
yes,
it's E16 OS. It will run E16 PLUS. It is designed for that. On the disk, it actually says E16 PLUS. In the software, it just says Bernina UI because it's the user interface.
Hey, Nate, guess what Betsy just chimed in and said? She has a prototype machine from Bernina, and now maybe she'll use it. You made that look so easy. It is so easy. And Betsy, if you have an E16, there is, I believe, an upgrade package available where you can bring it into the dealer. Let me double check on that for you. But I
don't know about that.
Maybe, or a trade-in. How about that? to get the differences. But I know in software differences on the Bravos, you can upgrade the software on the machine, correct? That's why I invite you here to fact check me, right?
Yeah, I would have to go back and look at paperwork on that one.
That's fine. And yeah. Lisa said, how do you know what colors they're supposed to be in the software? So you pre-program those, and I noticed that you can put the exact brand and color.
Yeah, you absolutely can, and it's all done on it's done on thread charts that are in the software. I give you the whole RGB value thing. Doesn't matter. Yeah. It's thread charts that are in the software.
Yeah. What brand options does it give you for thread to pick out?
I've done them all and I don't remember.
Okay.
Give me a second. I mean, there's something like 40. We've got Gunold and Floriani and Durac and Isacord and
a lot.
Yeah. So many.
So many. Okay. Well, let's do you want to go a little bit deeper into the operating system?
I want to show, because I did it the hard way, I want to show the easy way.
Oh, okay. Let's do that.
So there is a setting, and I just told you I was going to use the mouse and then I didn't. There's a setting in here that says closest match on load. Closest color match on load means if I load this design again, so remember I changed the background from what it was supposed to be and I changed this from what it was supposed to be. Actually, let's change that color back. So you can scroll through, you can see all the different thread charts over here. Let's go back to Isacord because that's what it is. I'm going to look at the thread on my machine and I'm just going to search so I can narrow that down. I can go straight to the color that's on my machine.
Wow.
Okay, now if I load, so you can see this design has oranges and yellows and pinks. If I just hit that and I hit OK, it's going to automatically load and it's going to find the closest match. So I didn't have a pink on my machine, so the flowers turned purple because that was the closest match I had.
Nice.
Yeah, so if you want to quick sew out, that's a way to do it. And you can kind of see down here what they were. And then you can also see that in the design software.
That is great. And I did notice that those thread brands on the previous screen, there's a list of those, and that's really, I think, important to a lot of us embroiderers to, you know, plug in the brands and colors in the machines, especially since it's showing it to you. Sorry, as it's
and
as it's being stitched out, which is really
and you can mix and match. If I went and I purchased this one crazy color because I couldn't find it in whatever my normal brand is, you've got multiple. They don't all have to be the same thread chart. You can mix and match.
Mm-hmm. That's great.
The other thing I like about this machine and this software is if you don't lie to your machine, you can't hit a hoop. Now you could lie to the machine and say, hey, I have a giant jacket back hoop, and you're really sewing in this one, and then you can absolutely hit a hoop. But if you
that reminds me of another of my favorite features, Nate.
Yeah.
The embroidery area is humongous on this machine. I almost forgot. That's like one of the most important things: the 16 needles and the embroidery area.
And this isn't even the largest hoop.
So we'll talk a little bit more about that later, but that's just really cool. So I'll let you get back to the software.
So yeah, if you look in the software, you can see I'm going to hit the hoop. It says hoop limits detected. It shows in red. It's not going to let me sew. It's not even going to let me trace on the machine. If I start pressing buttons, if I press the green button, if I do any of that, it's not going to go until I tell the machine, okay, I really do have a hoop big enough that you're not going to hit. And then you're good. And then just make sure whatever hoop you have, you tell the software, this is what I'm running, you're good. Placement's good, all of that. And to change that, it's really simple. You can just click on the hoop icon. They're categorized. So if I want a square hoop, if I wanted that jacket back hoop, I could have grabbed that. And then you can see, yes, this absolutely fits. It doesn't show me in red anymore. It shows a nice dotted hoop limit. I'm good to go.
So that hoop is 17.25 inches by 11.75 inches.
Yeah, now that's from this outer, which is where the two hoops meet, to this
Got
outer.
it. Mm-hmm.
So, and that's different hoop manufacturers measure their hoops different ways, and they label them different ways. So I put in whatever they state their hoop to be that causes the least amount of confusion. But the best thing always to do is load it up and make sure it's actually going to fit.
Yeah. So according to the brochure, it says that it's 400 millimeter, 400 by 350 is the embroidery area of this machine. And that equals 15.7 by 13.7 embroidery area.
Okay.
1,400 stitches per minute. So that's pretty cool. I like big hoops because you could just do so much with those.
You can do so much with them.
Mm-hmm. So not only can you do large embroidery areas, you can also do, and especially if you're doing businesses, if you're doing it for a business or just for high level, output, say you have an Etsy store or something like that.
Yeah.
Caps are very popular. And I think that this machine has a very, very cool cap frame.
I'm a big fan of how it does it because of, again, that cylindrical lower arm. You can get kind of a little bit closer to that cap itself. And we can look at how that works if you want.
I would love to see the cap hoop. That's something that just, it's so scary, but then it's not, so.
It's, I mean, I have a cap here.
Yeah, it's not as scary as you think it should be. But it's got a larger sewing field for the caps. And with the E16 Plus, with that rounded needle plate, it really gets around that very well.
Yeah, you've got, I don't know the dimensions, and I probably should. But you've got 270 degrees around the hat that you can do. So you can do the sides, the front, or you do it in a different order. You do the front first, because you sew from the center out to push fabric. And then you do one side and then the other. But you can do that all in one hooping, all in one design. You don't have to re-hoop and rotate and do all the things. It's not something I'm interested in doing. So I sew everything with backing. I've got a cap gauge here. It looks kind of like, honestly, it looks like an old school coffee can. And it's got.
So for those of you who don't know, there's three. If you're doing cap equipment on a multi-needle embroidery machines, there's three components that you need. So you have the there's a gauge, a driver, and a hoop. There's three pieces. So you can buy additional hoops if you want to hoop a hat while you, do the.
So
have the other one sticking out. So this one, two frames, so you can pick one while sticking the other.
Yeah, cool. That's always, if I'm ever doing production, I always want two of whatever hoop I'm doing. So I have one on the machine and I'm using the other one to hoop up my next job or my next run. Straighten the bill, slide it into place.
Betsy says she needs a huge video of that.
Fair enough. So I just fold the sweatband, pull the sweatband out as far as you can get it, fold it, and then the strap will come over. And ideally, it just runs right over the top of the stitching on the sides, and then it jogs and the teeth fall back, and you're going to have them go right into the stitching on the front. And then I just continue around, and then you latch it, and then I will smooth out the sides and clip them with clips, especially if you're doing the sides. If you're not doing the sides, I have coworkers who don't clip the sides, and I'm supposed to say that's fine. It still makes me a little twitchy. But yeah, no, you can absolutely do that. And then the other thing is there's a trough that is, I lost my other cap frame. It's behind me.
And guys, that stand is also included with the machine that has all of that great storage underneath.
So there is a trough right here that the bill fits in. So it gets even closer to the needle plate because it's pressed down, which is really nice. All right. So now all I would do is pull this off, and now it's ready to go on the machine. The problem is I'm set up for flats at the moment, so let's swap that out.
Okay. Yeah, I'm always interested to see what it takes to change it over. If you don't mind doing that for us.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
Okay, cool.
Don't do what I just did. Do not just throw your thumb screws around.
I'm losing thumb screws all the time.
The nice thing about it is you can screw them back into the carriage so that you lose them. The cap driver takes 2, the hoop arms take 4. So there's always kind of 2 extra when you're dealing with that. All right, so let's get you a little bit closer look. So all I'm doing is taking an Allen wrench to loosen these. And these are 6mm. And what's nice about these screws, they're made to break before you break the machine. So I always say go finger tight and then just a little bit more with the Allen wrench. And that's so that I don't damage the machine. Now, I had the cap frame on earlier today. Now,
this part that you just did is so cool. And this is an exclusive to the E16 Plus. This is a new system that allows you to get into the bobbin case easier. So how he just took that little piece off.
So
that's
this is actually part of the cap driver that would not normally be on. So normally at this point, you would be about here. And I would loosen this thumb screw and then pull the hook guard out because you need access to this T-channel. And then there are screws, and I'm just going to unscrew them until they're flush with the T-nut, and I'm going to slide this in, and it just goes all the way back until you feel a hard stop, and then you just tighten them. And then I'm just going to put this back into place. Now, the really cool thing, yes, the other one, the previous models remove. This one removes with a thumb screw, which is nice. The other thing is it tips down, so I can have much easier access to my rotary hook, but that's not what I mean. Bobbin case.
Yeah. So this takes an L bobbin. So that's good. That's good that it's easier to get into there to change your bobbin, because oftentimes we're trying to change our bobbin with a hoop still on the machine. So
I do a lot of it even inside a garment. So if you ever watch me do it, I'll often do it with my eyes closed just so I can concentrate on what I'm feeling. And this just slides into place.
That looks very secure.
And then these just go in. And I go finger tight, and then, like I said, just a little more with the Allen wrench. So I don't even know if I go, a 1/4 to a 1/2 turn more, maybe. There we go. That one was not as tight by finger tight.
That's so easy.
Yeah, not bad at all. And then I'll go back to this one. To put it into place, obviously you can't put it on the machine this way. The bill's in the way, so you just rotate it 90 degrees, rotate back up. There's a locator tab on the center, and it just snaps into place.
Wow, that was really easy.
Not so bad.
Yeah, and so while you're doing that, you still have your framing gauge on your table that you could be hooping your next hat, because you get 2 hat hoops with the frames with the machine, which is really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, you had talked about adjusting presser foot, and you don't, I'll make it do it. Make sure your hands aren't under the machine when you do this. So I'm going to, again, not lie to my machine. So I'm going to tell it, hey, you've got that cap frame on.
Oh, look at all those options. Those are the hoop techs, right? Hoop
tech. Some maybe. I don't even remember now. And then I'm going to load a design. I'm just going to go to my desktop, and I told you I'd use a mouse, and I keep not doing it. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Now, for a cap, I like to have things upside down. So I'm just going to go into the movement tab, and this is move and rotate. I'm just going to rotate it 180 degrees because the bill is towards the back of the machine. It needs to be upside down on screen. And then I'm going to change this to a poppy red. It's kind of a brick red in the file, but I think this is going to look better. And then I'm going to move this up on the cap so that I'm not exceeding that hoop limit. And then I'm going
So that
to,
dotted line is the hoop limit?
yeah, so here's
Okay.
kind of the band of the teeth, and then that's my hoop limit. So if I cross it, that's definitely not going to work.
Mm-hmm.
So then I move it, and I'm actually moving it on the machine. I'm just using the keypad here. I'm using the hoop and the up or down arrow. And what's nice about that is as I'm doing this, and I don't think you can see it in the zoom in, the laser's on, so you can see exactly where you are.
Love laser for placement and rotation.
Rotation.
Yeah.
All right, so what was I doing? Oh, we talked about adjusting the presser foot, and you do that to, again, adjust for that fabric. You can drop the needle so it's in the bottommost rotation so you can actually see on the machine where it's hitting. So I just dropped it. You can see it's lowered. And then I moved it over so that you can see this. You don't have to move it over to access it. Doesn't show up on camera. You guys don't have X-ray vision. I'm going to raise this up, and you can actually see the presser foot moving. And so you can adjust it for this cap. So I'm going to go just a touch in. The other thing that I can do, by dropping this needle, I can see how accurate was I. Is the needle right in the seam? Am I centered? And we're going to pretend the answer is yes, even though the answer is actually really no. I'm going to fix that real quick.
So you guys see how, let's see. You see how there's one foot that goes to the all 16 needles, which is so cool.
And as the machine moves, it stays put, and the needles just move in front of it.
Lori, I would say it's very similar in application to that feature on the other brands of machines. So it helps you rotate the design if you hoop it crooked.
I would argue.
The laser. It's a little, well, it achieves a similar result.
It achieves a similar thing. I am, of course, going to say that ours, I like ours better.
That's your favorite.
I don't have yardstick.
Okay.
Think about if this might work. Think about if, so you have that little snowman, right? And it's as you press it down and release, the fabric may, it's got a little bit of wobble or whatever, and your points are really close together. So if I move my hands just a little bit, that line changes.
Mm-hmm.
But if I move my points farther out, if I have a bigger area to register to, if I move my hands just a little bit, it doesn't move as much. You're far more accurate the farther apart your points are.
Got it. So if you have like a larger area and your laser is farther apart, it's going to be more accurate than just the crosshair.
Yes.
Interesting. I'm learning a lot today. Thank you.
So, I mean, that's me.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay. Well, cool. So you're using the cap hoop, which is actually included with the E16 PLUS machine. And did you want to stitch out on it, or? I can.
I'm going to trace first.
Okay.
So, I mean, I already know from the software I'm not going to hit anything, but I'm going to trace. And what's nice about the trace is and here it go. I should have done that closer up so you can see it move. Let me do that again.
You see how how the foot moved to the needle in the center? That is so neat.
So what's nice about that is the trace moves through the outer edges of the design. It is not a square. It goes wherever the outermost edges are and then comes kind of back in a little bit. So it's the most simplistic shape that hits all the outermost areas. What that also does is, for me, I apologize, I'm ADD, I get a little distracted, and I occasionally don't get things on the machine the way that I should.
I'm glad I'm not the only one, Nate.
Maybe sewn a garment to itself a time or two. If I trace it and I see it go bloop and then back down, that means, wow, I just folded fabric onto itself and I need to get in there and kind of clean that out. Not such a deal with a cap. But the other thing is, I have had customers who have this, and as they trace, the cap falls off the machine. Well, far better to know I didn't actually get it latched in the way that I thought I did. So I latch it in, I pull, I make sure it's on there. That's great. Again, if somebody said, hey, something shiny over here, while I was doing that, I may have missed one of those. So if I trace it and I see it not staying the way that it should, better to do it on a trace, better to know that everything's going to fit and be nice than as it's sewing out. If I sew it, and I'll try to mute this a little bit so it's not quite so loud for you. It's against a hard wall.
Yeah. So I'll just mute you real quick, and I'll come in and, oops, we'll look at it stitching. But this machine is a little bit louder than some other models, and it's because it's a commercial machine, and that's why it just makes a little bit more noise. It's actually not as loud as I thought. I think I can probably talk over it. So,
okay.
Yeah. So this machine, not only does it come with the cap equipment that includes the 2 frames, there's actually 4 additional round hoops that come with it. So I like the round hoops because they provide equal pressure around the design, which I think is superior to a square hoop, because you get equal pulling from all directions. So fast, right?
Oh, and I'm sewing slow.
What? How many stitches per minute are you sewing?
That was at 900 because I was doing a special application earlier, and that was, sorry. I can go faster. I'm sorry.
Don't be sorry. I thought that was fast. Oh my goodness.
So, in the software, sorry, you can actually see the time remaining. So it gives you an estimate of the time remaining, what stitch you're on, out of how many, what speed you're going. And then here's guidance for the active feed. So if I was doing something that I didn't want the thread to pull as hard on, I could say, you know what, I know you can feel the thread, but I want to give you a little bit more guidance, and you can adjust that way as well.
Wow. And I love, you see all the extra space around to the right and left and bottom of the cap? I think that's really unique to this model.
Yeah, I like that because I'm not going to bump into things, knock things off, get it in a bind, or I'm going to get tracking error or anything like that. That's handy for me.
Yeah. So I wanted to talk about 2 other hoops while we're waiting for that to stitch out. There's 2 unique hoops that I think are really important for, there's a package C, Bravo, or the Bernina E16 machines, and the extra large kit.
The XL hoop?
Can you talk about that just a little bit?
Yeah, well, as he disappears under the table, it's not a small hoop. It is not
a big hoop.
It's a huge hoop. Yeah, no, it's fantastic. It's so big, in fact, that it comes with its own set of hoop arms to give you even extra room. Yeah, so that's what that kit is the hoop and those hoop arms.
Wow. So you have to have special hoop arms to use that, and it's a 16.1 by 15.2 inch hoop. So very large.
Because I know we talked about it yesterday, but I'm not sure.
He's a centimeters, millimeters guy. I'm a inches gal.
So I got inspired by some of those in the hoop kind of zipper projects. This is all done in the hoop. It's a zipper project. It is a trick-or-treat bag that zips, and so the candy can't fall out when my nephews may or may not trip. So that's really kind of handy for that. But it's all done in the hoop, and it's done in that XL hoop. Really big sew field. It was done in 3 hoopings, 1 for the back, 1 for the turned bits, and then I did the front and the zipper and everything else all at once.
So Betsy asks, is that for the E16 Plus only? It's for the E16 Plus or the Bravo Package C only. So two machines that's compatible with.
Normally I would hate to show a thread break, but as it was actually me being stupid and not having the needle threaded, I'm okay with it. It stopped for me.
Okay, because of the So the thread break sensor chimed in.
Yeah, it said, hey, you're not doing what you think you're doing.
Okay. So because the needle wasn't threaded, it noticed that that bar across the front noticed that it wasn't pulling down, and it told you, hey, we're not going to go any farther. So it automatically stopped.
It stopped. It said, hey, you've got a thread break. So it says, it tells you what's going on. It changes colors so you can see it from across the room.
Wow. And how easy is it to go backwards in stitches? Or did you, how far?
It will automatically go back.
Oh, is that another one of my favorite things? I think so.
It will. And I apologize. I don't remember the number. We've changed it in a few different versions, and I don't remember what it is anymore. It's like 8-ish stitches. Automatically, if you want to go back more, you can. That's what these buttons on the keypad are for. It's back. It's framing forward or framing back. If you want to move to a specific stitch, that's in the software. I can move to a specific stitch, a specific color change, any of that. Wow.
I like that. Lisa, I agree. That is awesome. So there is also a new clamp hoop.
Yeah.
That I wanted to talk about too, that I think is really interesting.
So,
is it heavy?
Well, it's heavier than I was thinking it was, because I actually have two right here. So this is the kit, and it too is a kit. It's the Fast Clamp Pro, and it has lots of pieces, lots of pieces. What the difference is in those pieces. So you have this clamp, you have the main chassis that attaches to the machine, and they loosen and slide in and out. So it's adjustable width-wise. So you attach this where the hoop arms are, where the cap driver is currently attached. And then you can slide them in and out to accommodate different size pockets. Obviously for your sew field, you want as tight to your design as you can get, because that's going to prevent any extra material pull or push or any of that. But they adjust this way, in and out. Just make sure that they're the same, right? If I'm 7 centimeters out on this side, make sure I'm 7 centimeters out on the other. I don't want a lopsided frame. And then the other option you have is some of those parts are the clamp pieces themselves. So you have upper and you have lower. And then with the kit, you have 3 sizes. So you have, this is the largest size. So if you were doing something to get into like a pocket of the backpack that I threw somewhere. So for this, I've got a zipper here. If I try to hoop through that zipper, I'm going to crush it, right? And then it's not going to work. I also have a patch of leather right here. So again, if I try to like hoop that, it's going to cramp, and it's going to, the clamp makes it really easy. It just, I bring them in, I slide them down while it's on the machine, just slide it into place, make it nice and level. There's marks all along so I can make it level.
I love the visual on that. That makes total sense now.
Or if I need to get into something really tiny, I can do that as well. So this little bitty pocket, my hand barely fits in there, right? But I can slide those arms in, and I can clamp on either side, and then I can embroider.
That's really unique that you can make it the different sizes in itself, and you don't have to buy a different size hoop for that.
Yeah, no, you can adjust in and out. You just have to change the length of the arm depending on your application. And even then, sometimes I don't always change, and I can get away with stuff that I probably shouldn't.
Okay. Wow, that turned out really nice. And that's another thing that I have noticed about this machine is that the stitch quality's there for sure.
Yeah, I like the loft. I like how it treats the thread. I think it's really nice that way.
Barbara says, very, very cool.
Excellent.
And Betsy brings up a good point, which is one of my favorite things. Could you have changed the red stitching to the loopy stitching? And I think she's talking about micro chenille.
Yeah, so the answer is sort of.
Yeah. Let me just show them a picture of that.
Yeah,
because I want them to know that that's available on this machine. So this is it.
So if you look, go ahead.
Micro chenille. So it makes it's not an it's not an actual chenille, but think it looks like just like the back of a letterman's jacket, and you know, a lot of sports and high school lettering, I think.
Yeah, a lot of people aren't going to know the difference. I mean, I do because it's what I do, right? Chenille is pulled up from the bottom of the hook, and this is down through the top, and it's 2 threads, and nobody else cares. So the reason I say the answer is sort of is to do that effect, it is far more effective to do the fill in layers. So what is red, you would do it in layers rather than all at once. And I find, set that right there. I find that doing it in different directions with slightly shorter stitches than I would do for a normal embroidery fill gives the loops kind of a tighter, more even effect. Not tighter down, but cleaner, a few more loops in the area than obviously a longer stitch would do. So with editing in the design and applying that loop down on the color, then yes, I could. Could I do it just straight as it is? Yes. Is it more effective if I do it in a few different layers? Yeah, it is.
That looks pretty thick too.
Yeah.
How does it do? I haven't actually stitched out the chenille.
Oh, that's the other thing. Thank you. That effect is meant far more for kind of a 12 weight. So we had questions on, you know, what kind of weights can I handle? I've done 12, I've done 40, 60, 75 weight, no problem. You just have to change out your needles, right? And then occasionally I'll have it feed a little bit of extra thread if I'm doing something that's a little more brittle, like I don't even have a good example right now because everything I've tried lately has worked. Oh, my nephew, I did a big space pillow for him, and he had this holographic thread, very fine ribbony thread that he found at some quilt or craft, or I don't know where he found it. And his mom goes, cool, go talk to Uncle Nate. And so for that one, I slowed it down a little bit just to kind of ease that thread through a little.
Okay.
But yeah, no, this effect is far more effective in layers, lighter layers. And then with the thicker threads, obviously you need lighter densities. So to just swap this one out, not as much, a couple of edits, then I'm okay. The shape's good. It's just, I need to edit the fill a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot. I remember in, when I did the training, we did a lot on like underlays of stitches, which I think is really important. And I really liked the options that we got in the operating system. Or maybe it was the...
it's not the operating system.
It's not the operating system, but it's the...
It's the design software.
Design software. Yeah. That was really cool to be able to change that. So I have a question from Lisa Ballard. Does it prefer a particular type of thread? I wouldn't say that it prefers a particular type, but it comes with a very good brand that we would recommend.
Oh, see, I heard that differently.
Oh, okay.
I heard that as content type.
Okay.
And so I'm going to say, yeah. Can we sew lots of different types of threads? Yeah. If you're planning on sewing 1,400 stitches a minute, your thread better be sturdy. It needs to be, you know, that polyester to sew at that speed. Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. Can you sew others? Can you sew a rayon? Sure. You just can't sew quite as fast.
Yeah. So what weight do you use for everyday embroidery?
Every day I do 40 weight all day long.
Okay. Okay,
and
good.
Then when I get persnickety with my lettering, will I take it to a 60 weight? Sure. Will I take my needle down to 65? Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. So the threads that come with the E16 Plus, you get a full 16 starter kit of isocord thread, and that is those large cones on the top there.
Yeah, and I'm relatively... I'm positive that 15 of these colors came from a starter kit like that. I have swapped one out enough times that I don't remember which one came with it.
So it'd be similar to the ones on the machine.
Yeah, you're getting close.
Got it. And we'll have it on our website. So you get the Isocord starter kit. Can you show us the round hoops that it comes with? Do you have the 9, 12, 15 centimeter? And the new the jacket back.
That was the one that I held up earlier, but I can hold it up again. So this is a 9 centimeter. This to me is dead useful for honestly the corner of shirt collars if you're monogramming those, or the cuffs. I'm a big fan of this for those nice tight monograms. This is the 12 centimeter for a lot of more professional left chest, smaller. They used to be, left chests were huge, and the 15 was what you had all day long. Anymore, they're a little bit tighter, and I like the 12 for a lot of those. And then, yeah, this is the 15, which handles a lot of things. And honestly, it's a slightly large left chest, but it's about perfect full front for a onesie or a romperall, which is fun.
Wow.
So I have a new nephew coming. It's where my head is most of the time.
You must be the best uncle ever.
And then this is the jacket back.
Wow.
Yeah.
Great. So that's the biggest one that comes with the machine. But if you need even bigger, then you should upgrade and get that XL kit.
You've got options.
Bigger. Yeah. So I need to get some coffee too.
Sorry, if I talk and don't drink.
No, it's okay. It's just
all my
reminding me. I need to go refill my cup. Oh, I actually do have some. Here we go.
What up? So we had talked about the king spools. That's what comes with it. Can you run with mini kings? Can you run with the smaller ones? Yeah. You just swap them out, and then tie the next one on, and it fits right down over this. And thread adapter. I lose the name of this every time. This little kind of claw guy, and I need to remember what it is.
And that has been upgraded on the E16 PLUS.
Yes.
Well, to accommodate the largest Madeira spools, so they don't get the thread caught underneath, right?
Yeah. And the small ones, it fits into the small ones way easier than previous models. So that was painful to watch me do. I'm normally 20 times faster than that, but I broke it off a little short.
So that little knob that you're lifting is the tension kind of.
Sort of. It's
tension.
It's the idle roller. Yeah. So you can tell I didn't do a good job because I didn't go all the way through the eye needle. Pretend it went through. It usually does.
So you just basically threaded the machine.
I did.
That quick.
Yeah.
Wow.
Quick swap. You tie them together. If you tie a proper square knot, it'll go all the way through the eye of the needle and won't come untied. If you're distracted and talking while you do it, it's not as good. But yeah, no, these are the idle rollers.
Yeah.
Give me half a second and see if I can get you a better shot of those.
Sure. So this machine actually uses an industrial needle, everybody. So it's actually a round shank needle. It's a DBXK5. We like Grossbecker brand. And it's actually, it has like a 1 degree turn on the needle. So that's just something to know when you get this machine. It does use an industrial needle. So you can actually pop, if you tie the knot right, it will go through the eye of the needle, which is good.
And I can do it again and actually pay attention, and it will happen. So yeah, and yeah, it's 5 degrees to the right was essentially 1 minute on a clock face, 1 minute, 6 degrees.
Yeah.
And other side. I use a needle orientation magnet, which is just a little cylindrical magnet that sticks out from the thread guide on the needle straight out, so you can actually see what the rotation is on the needle. I can zoom in and show you that in a second.
Yeah, that's cool. I just think that that's really interesting because that's a unique thing for that model.
So right here are these idle rollers, and if you look, let me lift a few more of them so you can see underneath. The thread sits right on kind of a more grippy roller that's inside of that, and that's a technical term, grippy. What that underneath roller, all that roller does is it feeds out thread. So as it's going, it's actually feeding thread to the fabric, to the needle as it goes.
Mm-hmm. So Lori asks a really good question, which I definitely want to talk about. She's addicted to the magnetic hoop. Is that an option for this machine? So yes, this is a very widely used make of machine, and all of the hoop manufacturers basically. I don't know if Designs a Machine Embroidery does, but I know that Hoopmaster, Durkee, Hoop Tech, all of those companies frames for these. So I know a few ago we did a video with Brent Taylor from Durkee, and we showed the 7-in-1 easy frame set that will definitely be available as an optional purchase for these machines.
Oh, I still have autofocus on. Sorry. Let me get out of the way.
So changing colors is really easy. We showed the cap equipment. We showed the operating system software. There is also a Design Shop Lite software that comes with this for lettering.
So I can actually hear you guys. Tripping over things. Sorry about that. And then if you want to see how that works, you can just snap that to the thread guide, and it sticks straight out from there, so you can see right how that needle is oriented. And that needle, I don't know who put that needle in, but that's way too far to the right. So
see that thing behind the needle is the foot.
Yeah.
You just have to change that one foot, which is really cool. So who uses this machine? There are so many different, types of consumers for this machine. It's not just for starting a business or if you already have an established business. It's also if you love quilting.
Yeah.
You can totally do quilting in the hoop with this machine, and especially because it has that large embroidery area on it.
Yeah, and you can do it a couple of different ways. We've got, it's been a while since I've had this square out, but you can do the piecing in the piecing in the hoop, where you hoop up backing and then batting, and then you lay it down and fold it over and piece it in the hoop and quilt it in the hoop, and then trim these edges, sew it together, and then put bias tape on the back, kind of in a window pane fashion.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a very kind of common quilting on an embroidery machine application. That
I'm sure a lot of you have seen this beautiful design.
Yeah.
And I know that, maybe I'm wrong, but I know that this make of machine is what's they have at the OESD facilities to stitch these panels out with.
Yeah, I don't, timing wise, I'm not positive on that specific design, but I know that they're sewing a lot of them out on these machines now.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it's the same mother company of OESD.
We're all a part of the Bernina family. We just happen to be their industrial.
Yeah, that's really cool. So I think that that's definitely something to consider if you're doing a lot of these, because I don't like to tie up my sewing machine while I'm doing my quilting in the hoop, for sure.
Yeah, no, thank you. You could also, so this is that other panel in different colors, kind of stitched together. On the back, it does not been trimmed, does not have the bias tape on it yet. But you can see that you can kind of match the bobbin color if you want. That would require you winding your own bobbins or finding pre-wound bobbins that match your top thread. If you are running with a metal bobbin, just make sure that you order a bobbin case with a backlash spring. I don't, because I don't swap out my bobbins as much. So I have ordered plastic-sided pre-wound bobbins. And then when I'm done with them, I chuck them into a flower pot by my office door, and then I'll rewind those. So as long as they're not cracked, it's great. And the only difference is if you're running 40 weight thread in your bobbin, you'll have to adjust that tension just a little bit.
Yeah. So I also know that lace is really popular now too, and those can be very stitch dense, which is great for this machine.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we've sewn, and now I can't lay my hands on an example, but we've sewn a lot of those. I think we did some pumpkins different than the pumpkins different than these guys. but the ones that are sculpted out of freestanding.
The OESD.
Yeah, we've done some of those.
Gorgeous.
They're fun too.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we've done several of those, and what's nice about it is it doesn't take nearly as long on these machines as it does on, you know, others.
Exactly. So let's see. Betsy asks, how does this machine do with metallic thread? Which is a good question.
It is a good question. And honestly, it does fine. I would have thought, you know, okay, at the speeds, do I need to sew a little bit slower? And on older metallic thread, yeah, sure, maybe I need to slow it down a little bit. Maybe I need to sew with a larger needle. The newer threads that are coming out, they're softer, they're more pliable, and you can fly with the new ones.
Yeah.
And that just surprised me. I didn't believe it. And I was at a show, I don't remember where, and I only had smaller needles because I'm me and that's what I sew with most of the time because I do fine detail stuff. And I'm like, there's no way this is going to work. There's no way. And it ran without a thread break, and I did not believe it. Yeah, it runs beautifully.
Yeah. It's amazing what it will stitch through. I was like, wow. Whenever we got it in our retail stores, it's phenomenal. But anyway, so I know that we need to do a recap, and if anybody has any questions, let us know. And Betsy, thanks for all your questions during this video. If you have questions, direct message me or leave a message in the comment and we'll get back to you on that. Yeah. So I wanted to just recap what we showed today is the Bernina E16 PLUS. That's the brand new model. It includes the cap equipment 4-hoop stand. We also have, since it's available for purchase in our retail stores, we offer on-site 2-day training with that. So that's phenomenal with that machine. And I wanted to tell y'all what kind of special we have on this. So let's bring that up. So the Bernina E16 PLUS, because it's a Bernina, you get to take advantage of the 48 months 0% financing at $15,995. So that brings it down to only $333 per month. That's amazing. I think price per month with the machine you get, that's the best deal that we have going on right now. I think that it's just phenomenal. So you get the stand, you get the machine, you get the Design Shop Lite software. So that enables you to do lettering and placement. You have an option to upgrade to full digitizing software if you choose. You get the cap equipment, you get the large jacket bag hoop, the 3 round hoops, you get all 16 kinds of thread to get started. You get the Bernina warranty in the store and 2 days training in Louisiana or Texas with Marilyn or Ed or Rantis, who is amazing. They did our training for us. I'm sorry?
I love those two.
Oh, you know them.
Oh, I absolutely know them.
They are awesome. Marilyn is actually in Lafayette, and she's an educator for Melco and Bernina, but she also runs a business on her. I think she has the Bravo.
I don't know what she has.
I can't remember, but because she had it before Bernina came out with the E16, which has the enhanced features. So you get the dealer support at a local level when you get the E16 PLUS, and you get the enhanced features, which are, we went through some of those today, but it's like the fastest of the line, 1,400 stitches per minute. It has that enhanced arm needle plate thing that comes off to get to the body face easier. Okay. It has a better trimmer system. I'm trying to go from the top of my head.
No, you're good. You're doing well.
And then the thread.
The thread tree has been redesigned, and the hoop arms have been redesigned. So these are a little different than the old model too.
Yeah, bigger and better than the other ones. So if you're not local, It's okay. We have options for you. So there are Bravo machines available. They don't have all of the features that we talked about today, but they are available for shipping in the United States for these 3 packages. Now, the Bernina we cannot ship. That has to be in our retail store. But there is a package A available for 24 months, 0% financing. You can get it for only $396 per month. And that is a 14 by 12 embroidery area. It comes with the 4 hoops, the cart, and this one does 1,100 stitches per minute. Now, we were demonstrating the E16 Plus that did 1,400 stitches per minute. So that's something to keep in mind. That also includes the Design Shop Lite software and free shipping within the continental USA. Now, if you're interested in the full digitizing software, that's package B. That's the main difference between package A and package B. So for the digitizing software, that's only $438 per month, 24 months, 0% financing on approved credit. And the 24 months is through Synchrony financing. Now, the Bernina E16 Plus uses the Bernina credit card, so it's a little different. Okay, package C. This is a larger embroidery area machine. It still includes the 4 hoops, the cart. It does 1,100 stitches per minute, but it has the top of the line digitizing software with that. It's only $452 per month for 24 months. And you can build up to 4 machines with this package. So to add subsequent machines, you don't have to pay that full price because you have the Design Shop Pro Plus software to be able to run the other machines, and free shipping within the continental USA. Now I get to drink my coffee.
That was a lot.
It was a lot. But you know what? I'm very, very excited that Bernina has Bernina owns Melco.
Yeah, we're part of the family.
Yes, part of the family, which I think is wonderful because Melco we have carried for so many years. Bernina is only just making it better, and they're making it better with their E16 Plus machine.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I'm a big fan.
Me too.
Yeah.
I really like it too. So, and I really appreciate you coming on the show with me.
Absolutely.
And I hope we could do this again sometime. Maybe we could showcase the Melcos next time. But I definitely wanted to put our best foot forward and show the premium line, which is the Bernina E16 Plus.
Yeah.
It's awesome. So, okay, wonderful. So if you have any questions, please direct message allbrands.com. We'd be happy to help you. And also, we have specials going on every month for the Bravo machines. So if you're interested, just direct message me because I do have some extra special deals on those that I can't advertise in this video. And we'll have one every month, so it's okay. Because I know there's only 2 days left for September. So, but the September promotion is awesome. Let me just tell you that. Anyway, well, so how's the weather?
No, I'm like, it's 2 days left of the month. I'm just like,
I know October is in 2 days, right?
And then it's going to be Thanksgiving. Yeah, it's crazy.
So many holidays coming up and a lot of embroidery to do. And you know, I have to share this really cute design that I saw from Scissor Tail Stitches, and I was like, how wonderful would this be as a gift for Christmas? Let me pull it up because it's so cute. Hold on just a second.
Yeah.
Okay. And I mean, your nephew's so lucky.
Oh.
This is such a cute little design from Scissor Tail Stitches. And imagine just having these running, you know, on your multi-needle embroidery machine to get ready for the holidays. And you don't even have to go, you know, into a retail store ever again, you know, to go buy trinkets and this and that aren't made. You could make it in the United States.
And I know I said, you know, I keep my slow field, or I keep my hoop as close to my design as possible. But if I was doing something like that, I'd put 3 or 4 of them into a hoop and just let it go while I'm doing other things. I mean, I've got, you know, Netflix to binge or something.
Yeah. Yeah, I always multitask when I embroider. I can't sit there and watch the whole thing. Like, I did it at first, and then I was just like, oh my gosh, I can't watch this the whole time. I have to sew, you know, while my embroidery machine is going. So
yeah.
So an excellent companion, which I picked up from the store and I've been playing on, is the Bernina B770. I love this model. It's
nice. Cool. I have that version, older and discontinued, but I love it.
Good. Yes.
Absolutely love it.
All right. Well, thank you again, Nate, for coming on the show.
Thank you.
And give your nephew a big hug and kiss from the AllBrands family, because he is such a lucky duck.
I will do it. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you so much, and everybody